Hi, this is Jeff Blauette, technical agronomist with Cooperative Farmers Elevator, and we're back for season 2021 of our Field Friday season. Kind of out here now. Obviously we've got corn that's just coming up good now here in mid-May. Time to start evaluating, if you haven't already, some of your corn stands, making sure everything is doing all right. We've also got the opportunity now, with as early as beans went in, there's beans that are coming up real nice too, I see around the countryside. But it's time to maybe take a look at evaluating corn emergence and some of the things that are going on there. We always look for hybrid variations, and obviously we've got weather factors into this too. This year being a little different, we're so dry this year. I've had a lot of guys talking about, I was planting corn 3 inches deep to get to moisture, or trying to. If the planter would go that deep, the ground was pretty hard and hard to penetrate being so dry. Some of the soil got worked when it was plenty breezy and we lost some moisture there, so we're into dry, fluffy soil. Getting a good, even emerging stand this year seems to be a bit of a challenge. We also had, some of this weather was allowing us to plant pretty early, and we never really warmed up all that well. We planted some corn in some pretty cool soils. So there's lots of things that are affecting, the potential for a nice, even stand. I've got something I've come across, some of this corn that was planted really early. It was pretty cool. Soil maybe warmed up, cooled down. That corn was kind of confused, probably had some chilling issues. And with that, we get corn that looks like this. You can kind of see that corn kind of sprouted, tried to grow, and kind of corkscrewed because it really wasn't sure what to do. It was kind of screwed up by maybe taking in some real cool, that first water it sucked in was really cold, and it screwed up some of the cell development, and it's not going to be a productive plant. It probably won't even make it up in this case. We've got some situations where we've got corn that was maybe just a tick ahead. It had just a little bit less residue. So here we've got corn that's not all the same size, these plants next to each other, but we're pretty close, probably close enough where these plants will still be, good productive plants. If there's more separation in size than what we see here though, and there's plenty of that out there this year, we're going to have some of these plants are not going to have as big an ear. Some may even have a nub, and if they're a lot farther behind, maybe more than a collar separating the size of them. We'd really like to have more corn that looks like this though. This corn's all emerged the same size. This one's going to be a nice stand right in this little area, and this field actually in this picture looks really good. But it was hard to do this year. Lots of factors that were beyond our control. It was hard to make the right decision. Nobody really you'll know this fall what was the right decision, to go ahead and plant in cool soils or wait, plant it 3 inches deep to get into moisture, or wait. It wasn't an easy spring. Sometimes you just have to make a decision and maybe roll with it. We did have some of these corn on corn fields. I have also seen where we had a lot of residue to try and get rid of. We didn't really break down much residue last fall since the ground conditions were so dry. We didn't get a lot of decay. And then this spring being cool and staying cool, the degradation of these plant residues was a little bit slower. So we do have some of these corn on corn fields where there was plenty of residue that we didn't get out of the row. There's seed planted next to that. Maybe the residue itself was causing a problem, or having to work it to try and bust that residue up, dried the soil out. So corn on corn could be some issues this year too, especially if the residue wasn't baled off or properly sized. So there's lots of things that we're looking at this year. I would just recommend that you go out and take a look at your fields. Not a lot you can generally do about it, but it's always good to learn for future reference. If you did something, planted really early in cool soils, and you don't like how that turned out, it's good to know for maybe next year or the year after. But go out and take a look, see what we got going on, and hopefully we have an adequate stand that's close enough in size where we have all the plants doing their job. But with that, that's this week's Field Friday segment, and we'll see you next week.